Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of Cryptane Plays Minecraft. So this week I thought, you know what, let's just get right into the news and then after that I can go into what I do in Minecraft here. So, what's big in the news right now? Well, one thing I wanted to go off really quickly is there's a new potential in Europe for this new calorie label. And the cool thing about it is that on the label they're thinking about putting how long it takes to burn off the calories. So it takes you 15 minutes of a run, or biking for 20 minutes, or swimming for 10 minutes, or whatever the case may be. Which is kind of a neat idea, right? It gives you an idea of like how much you'd have to work out if you wanted to burn that stuff off. Maybe as a deterrent, but not so much, just to be informative. I think it's a pretty neat idea. So I thought that was pretty cool. Oh, okay. Oh no. So anyways, I got that out of the way. But the big news, oh boy, SpaceX. If you know anything about SpaceX, you know anything about Elon Musk, they just launched their rocket, the Dragon, using the Falcon 9. And oh my god, I got a link here. There's a video in the link of the whole thing going down. And it's so awesome to watch. The excitement is palpable. I would highly recommend checking that out. But essentially what they were doing is that SpaceX was launching a rocket. They're taking up the Bigelow Expandable Activity Module, or BEAM for short. It's Bigelow Aeronautics. That's their little habitat that they want to put on the ISS for a couple of years to test it out. Oh, that's not how you do that. Oh, here we go. So they want to get that on the ISS because what it is essentially it's an expandable storage, right? Or it's expandable unit, so that way you could bring it up in a condensed size, and then that provides you with a lot more space than the way that they do the ISS now, where they just bring up the modules as a whole. This way you could expand them. Obviously they're testing it out, but if that works out, and in the next 5 years or so, you could start getting potentially Bigelow could get their own little station up there for experiments, and even a little further down, maybe tourism. It's always been the craze. I know we talked about tourism forever over the years, but hey, you know what? If I can go to a space hotel for 50,000, even if it's only one night, that's an experience you're never gonna forget. So I'm excited for that. But then also what's really great about this is that, so they launched it up, and the cool thing about SpaceX is when you launch a rocket, it goes up and then it just detaches and it burns up in the atmosphere. Well, in this case, the Falcon 9 rocket actually comes back down and it's supposed to land. You might have seen some other videos where it comes down and it tries to land and it falls over or misses the barge or whatever the case may be. But I'm going to spoil it. It lands. You might have already heard about it. Pretty darn awesome. So awesome. So exciting. And then Elon Musk decided to drop a tweet, which he promptly removed, though. But I got a link to what he actually dropped, which is basically a video of the landing with I'm on a boat featuring T-Pain. Pretty awesome little tweet, little video. So I would check that out too. I got a link to that as well. So another big news, we have Facebook, and they had a little conference and a little keynote, and in their keynote they go over certain things like AI. AI is apparently going to be the huge next thing. Or chatbot, like I think. Oh, sorry, sheeple. I believe Facebook's thing is M? Facebook M? I think that's what it's called. Anyways, the idea is that they're trying to make you a digital assistant. Very slow at the moment. I mean, you ask it for the weather, and it's going to take an hour to get back to you. Not exactly Google Now speeds, or whatever you use. But still exciting, because the idea that you'd have an assistant that would just know or always tell you the weather in the morning or whatever the case may be would kind of neat. Or to make reservations, get a plane ticket, not necessarily ideal. because I know like you generally want to get a cheap ticket or good ticket or whatever the case may be, and it would just get you whatever one. But it's a cool start to a future where, you know, everybody's assistant is simply their phone and then the cloud on top of that. So that's pretty cool. They also announced that they're going to start taking on Periscope. If you don't know, that's the mobile streaming app where you can stream video on your mobile, kind of like Twitch, but using your phone. So they want to take that on more aggressively. Oh, okay. That's happening. Pretty sure you can sleep in the rain, so it doesn't matter, even though I would never be able to fall asleep if I was just in the rain, but, you know, who cares? Yeah, so they're going to take on Periscope. They got their own service, and a key thing about that is if you know anything about drones, the little flying drones you can buy, and you can get the ones that are really expensive that are automated. They've been using them in films and whatnot to get really great shots. Well, you're going to be able to stream directly from that too, which is really cool because the idea that you could be covering an event with multiple drones or whatever, a concert, and you can have those flying around, taking video and streaming that out. It's really neat, or whatever the case may be. You know, you'll start seeing that with probably crime scenes or whatever the case may be. Just being able to get right close in the action. Kind of cool. Certainly, they're taking them on pretty hard right now. And then another thing is they've came out with a 360 camera, which is like open source. So they're just kind of giving it out to the public, essentially. For the software side, but yeah, it's a little 360 camera. They're just trying to get the baseline because as you know, Facebook owns Oculus, and therefore the VR game is pretty big in their pocket. So they're really diving deep on that one. And with that though, there's another link that I have of a video of them doing a social VR where you can kind of get more of like an insight what they might do with the Facebook. Where you see where they show a video and there's a couple of guys, and they're sitting there across the table looking at each other, and it's cool because instead of what there normally is, the guy actually has like a drawn face, which is nice. So you can kind of have a custom avatar, which looks a little nicer, and then they can interact and they can go to certain environments, just change their surroundings while they're having kind of like a Skype call, a VR Skype call, or whatever the case may be. And they can change their environments. They can draw on each other, and then they can also stay in those environments and take like a little selfie picture, which is really neat, really kind of cool, and it lets you kind of experience things that you might not be able to. In their case, I think it's one of their drone ships that they're showing off, really, really wide wingspan aircraft. They were really showing off that you wouldn't normally get to see. So it's kind of neat what they can do with that. And that's just a start, obviously. And then they took a little selfie. Pretty interesting. You might want to watch that part. And then they shared that to Facebook through a pretty tactile way, which is pretty cool. Also, in the space, back to space. Sorry, I should have put that right after SpaceX, but whatever, it is what it is. There's a show on YouTube I watch, which is Kurzagat. I'm not really sure if I'm saying that right, but they've essentially called it In a Nutshell. And what they go over is a space elevator, and the idea of having a space elevator, and what it would be to make one, and the implications, and why we would want one. And essentially, a space elevator is a way to get products into orbit in a more reusable manner and in a more consistent manner. But then he goes over the implications of how would you power an elevator like that, how long it would take, what resources you would need to make it, what happens if there was a disaster, all very important. But he goes over all that in a really nicely short 5-minute video, I believe. Really detailed. Highly recommend checking that out. Really love their videos. So also, another YouTuber that I quite thoroughly enjoy is, I've lost myself, is JV2017. He does a lot of Fallout right now, and he went over the Wasteland Workshop. Not sure if you're interested, but if you are, $5 little DLC. Basically the Hearthstone of Fallout. Or was it Hearthstone? I think so. I think that's the Skyrim one. Anyways, though, he goes over that in a very detailed video, but he's also got timestamps if you're just curious about zooming around. But you can see what's all in that. It's really great. Looks like they got a whole new design aesthetic where you can have I believe, concrete is the thing, and it's all very clean looking, which is nice. That's a thing that I want. I would want in my settlements, and I could really see this working out in survival mode, where settlements become a lot more useful because you need places to store your stuff. Since you can't carry as much, you need beds and the safety of a nearby place. So he goes over all that. It's really cool. I recommend watching that, checking that out. So in the mobile games department, I checked out Kingdom Hearts Unchained X. Pretty nifty little game. If you like the Kingdom Hearts series, I mean, you're gonna like this. It's pretty fun, pretty straightforward, but it's fun. You got the leveling. Very, very enjoyable experience, albeit a very straightforward one. I would recommend checking that out if you're into the Kingdom Hearts, especially. I mean, why wouldn't you? Pretty big file, but other than that, you're good to go. Yeah, I had a lot of fun. It's a fun little game to play. I got a link to a Kotaku article by Mike Fahey. Fahey, maybe. He's also got video impressions on there, which gives you a quick glimpse of the game, and you can check that out before you commit to it or anything like that. So it's definitely worth your time. Okay, so now this is a big one. Throughout the week, one whole day, I watched 24 episodes of an anime series. Yep, I'm a binge. I like to binger. So anyways, what I watched was an anime, Parasite the Maxim. Oh my god, I watched the dub, granted, and it just came out. Superb though, superb acting, superb, great storyline. Really interesting too. I really like those anime that really start off with a lot of intrigue and mystery, and then it kind of unfolds as it goes along. I don't really want to spoil anything, but it's also pretty graphic, but also pretty funny, and a really great storyline to watch and follow through. Definitely worth your time. I enjoyed it thoroughly, obviously thoroughly enough to watch the whole thing in one day. So it's just really cool. I don't really want to spoil anything, but it's a really solid anime. I recommend checking that out. I got a link to Anime Planet for that one, which is a website I use to keep track of all the anime I watch. I would highly recommend, if you like to keep track and rate and whatever the case may be, is that you get on there and check that out. It's great, fantastic website. I don't think I've ever come across one that's anywhere near as good. So I would highly recommend that you check that out, check out the website. Definitely check out that anime if you're into it. Give that a go. Okay. Now, I forgot to mention this last week, but I went to go see 10 Cloverfield Lane. Not necessarily a sequel or anything to Cloverfield, if you remember that movie from way back. But it's not really about that necessarily. It's a mystery suspense drama kind of movie. But it's fantastic acting. Very sensible. It's one of those situations where the woman, Mary Elizabeth Winstead, Michelle, you might also know her as Ramona from Scott Pilgrim vs. the World. So I've already had a little crush on her, can't lie. But anyways, some fantastic acting, especially by John Goodman, who's the one, I don't really want to spoil anything, it's kind of hard. But he does some fantastic acting for what would be like a troubled person, so to speak. Anyways, but it's like most suspense, where there's a person or potentially trying to get away or whatever the case may be, it's very logical. You're not sitting there going like, oh, why is everybody splitting up? Like a horror film or whatever. Like, why are you doing this? Why are you doing that? You don't sit there thinking, oh, these are all dumb decisions. So it's very sensible, and because it's sensible, thoroughly... much more thoroughly enjoyable to watch. I would highly recommend that movie. And then finally, Jimmy Kimmel got the world exclusive rights to show the world premiere of Doctor Strange, a new Marvel movie with Benedict Cumberbatch, Cumbersnatch as I like to call him. So I'm not really familiar with Doctor Strange as a character. From what I understand, he has a lot of mystical powers. Magician, pretty much the most powerful person to use mysticism and all the arts of chi or kai or magics or whatever they spiritual. Pretty much all of them. He's well versed, essentially, is what it comes across. He's intensely powerful. Really cool trailer. I'd recommend checking that out. They use a lot of interesting visuals, kind of reminiscent to a degree of the dream sequences of that movie with Leonardo DiCaprio. And I'm drawing a blank here. Inception. It's kind of reminiscent of that when the world's folded in on itself and stuff like that. Really freaking cool. I think it's going to be a nice movie to enjoy. You know how I hate the night, but a really great movie. I think it'll be. It looks like it's going to be a really great movie. I can't say definitively. Obviously, I haven't seen it, but it looks like it's going to be really great. Anyways, that's all the news and everything I got for this week. So let's go a little bit into what I got going on here. So as usual, all you get to see me doing is digging, because that's all I ever do. But you might be wondering, why are all these channels here? Is this stuttering? It looks weird to me. Oh well. Why are all these channels cut out? And the reason for that is I've decided when I do these projects, like over there and over there, is that if you segment everything, you can save yourself a lot of a headache, kind of. It doesn't make it faster technically, because if you actually just went in a clear pattern, just cleared it all out, it would be faster, sure. But this way you can be like, I'm just going to do this little hill for now, and you focus on that, and you feel a little bit more accomplished when you finish it. So I kind of segment it that way, and I work with all the dirt first, as you can see, too, so that way I don't have to carry multiple tools and everything. So, I didn't know that was there. Oh, that could be dangerous. Anyways, so I've just been clearing all this out. I'm actually almost kind of getting really close to getting done, and then I'll actually start getting the building. I did move some things around, though. I got a little farm going on. This will all get moved down the road, but as you can see, staying stocked up on the food is necessary. And I had a farm way over there, if you remember, but because of where I'm working, it's not exactly loaded in, and therefore it's not growing. So this seems to be a more ideal situation for me. Lots of wheat means lots of bread, and that's all about being satiated. Because if you eat something that gives you, like, let's say I think bread gives you 2.5, and carrots only give you 1.5, by eating the bread, not only do you get more hunger out of it, but also because I only used a half hunger chomp there, I actually end up being more satiated longer with a full bar, which can be useful, so you're not eating as often as well in that regard, which is nice. It also lets you, with the way that it works in the 1.9 mechanics, is that if you're low on health for whatever reason, and I was down to left, let's say, half a haunch, and all of a sudden I ate some food, I would heal really rapidly for an extended period, far more than I would on carrots. Although ideally I would get some beef or something. I believe that gives you 4, and that would be even better. But, you know, when I find a cow, all I have is the sheep everywhere, and the odd chicken apparently. Like, why are they all congregating over there? I don't know. That's just, I guess there's a little watering hole there. Could be fresh water. There's no salt water in Minecraft, but, you know, that'd probably be how it all works, right? Anyways, so this is a little shorter, but I think this is a better, I like this little streamlined look. I'll continue to work on this, and I'll get back to you with some more news in the coming weeks. All right, thanks for watching. Later.